Before we kick this one off, I want to welcome every viewer that's here today to come and join my Discord down below. I've had it for ages. You can see there's only 7 people in. Did once have 160 when I was doing live streams, but the main aim for this is for me to interact with you guys. I want to get to know some of you, and I want to really just grow a community for free. Link will be down below. As I said, look, it's going to be good. I'm really looking for some serious traders. I'm not going to have people in the group that aren't going to be at least somewhat interactive. I know sometimes it's hard. Maybe you aren't trading or whatever, but join us down below. Feel free. We're always talking in it. You can see there's messages popping in right now. But yeah, really, I'm sharing my analysis for the day / week, and we're always talking about different stuff, technical analysis, fundamentals, funded challenges, and we do Zooms every now and then as well. And we've got areas for a bit more fun as well. But yeah, let's head into the week. As I say, link will be down below. Come and join that. It will be free to join. I'm not selling a community or anything. I think it's just good to be able to interact. Some of you guys might trade alone. It's very boring, and I do like that interaction. All right, cool. So how we look on the accounts. I think we did a video last week. I was still in EU sells. Now that has, let me get onto these now. That has played out. What we're looking at the minute is I was in sells from around here on EU. I'll go back to the exact point, but we were selling from, I think, around here. I don't know why this is doing this. Let me get this up. Let me get some ticks on it. So we were in a trade here, and what we ended up doing was closing the week, and I said I'd close out if I wasn't liking the position. I was trying to sell back to this low, and we had a bigger stop. I don't know why it's in black, but we'll just go with it. So I was in this position here, and we were seeing if we could carry on down. Now, the Trump speech at the start of Monday when he come in to be president of the United States, we saw a big candle correct as he kind of discussed tariffs. They weren't going to be going through as quick as I think he initially stated, which allowed this sell-off to continue. So I took a loss on that, which is fine. Obviously, that I gave the chance to play out, and I'm more than happy if I was in that same scenario to do that again. So we took a loss there. But as for how the accounts sit now after this week gone as well, because we have took more trades, we are looking at, we've had a loss this week. We haven't had the best month overall. And look, I'm down this month, and I'm always here to share the transparency. I know every month isn't going to be profitable. I'm down less than 1R for the month. And in my eyes, if I can keep the losing months minimal, I'm happy with that. And when the winning months come and it's a bit easier in the market, then that's where I'll make the money. As for the funded accounts, we're not looking like we're going to be getting a payout. Obviously, we've got a while to get that, but I could, on Monday, if it was available, actually get a payout here. Going on to the FTMO challenge. So we're down 2%, 1.5, less than 1.5. We're down about 3.5% on the 200k. And I've overall took 3 losses on that now. So it's not looking the best, but I've got to let probabilities play out at the end of the day. I know that it's been a tricky period, especially with Trump coming in. And not always you're going to have great spells of winning streaks, but they will come. As for the fivers, if we go back out of this, we are down 1R, we're down $500, so that isn't looking as bad. And then we've got the City Trades Imperium, I'm also down only $500. I risked less on this trade yesterday just based on the fact I need consistency and I need 3 profitable days. And I did set entries on both EU and GU yesterday on Thursday. And if they both played out, I still would have the, in theory, if I risk 1.5%, I'd have the profit target, wouldn't have the profitable days. So it didn't make sense to really go high risk on that. And really, it's about preserving capital sometimes as much as it is trying to push for them passing phase 1 and 2s. And we're not going to go into crazy detail. Obviously, we're going to go through the week. But based on this chart, I've really learned this week that I'm using capital.com. And if anyone is using that for DXY, do highly recommend looking at TVC. That's where we got the 110 tap. That's where we ended up coming down from. We're looking okay. Going into this week, we didn't have bearish confirmations on DXY yet. We also didn't have bullish confirmations, so we were playing off daily time frame, and we obviously were holding this area here. We were looking for the highs to get tested, so I'm going to be looking for that until otherwise, and I do understand that there's going to be a time that I'm wrong within this trend, and I'm happy to lose and then reconsider the analysis based on the next week. We were holding, obviously, EU sells then. And as for EU, we can see where we are right now. we were down here, and we did start to create some liquidity here. It wasn't looking the best with this daily area that we were struggling to break. We gave that a shot though, because we were kind of sandwiched in between two areas. And looking back, the whole consolidation period during them 3 days was really just based on waiting for Trump to come into power. So we were looking like that. We didn't have any higher time frame set on this one. And then if we're looking into GU, we'll take all this off for now. We'll go through that in a minute. We were looking on the daily time frame, and we saw that we were not breaking this area down here. So even though DXY did look like it was possibly going to go up, didn't sell GU, we weren't breaking this daily, which kind of suggested to me that we may have to come and induce this high and come into this weekly FVG before we see the downside. But candles are still closing bearish on the weekly, and that's where GU was a lot more bearish than EU. EU was stuck in a bit more of a consolidation along with DXY, and we could see that it wasn't the same for GU. We were still very low, but we had the ability to pull back and continue that trend, because ultimately we did retest the 1, 2, 3 level, and if we had weekly closures below like we did, if we see strong candles suggesting otherwise, we could still come down into further areas to the left here. So going to the week, we obviously see what Monday did, and it took me out of that EU sell that we had. Took a big L there, so we come back in to this weekly POI. I think it was a wick here at the time. Nothing suggesting yet we were looking for any buys or sells, to be honest, which is where it's going to be a very quick video. We saw that on GU, so we come back into this weekly, and now it's a case of what are we doing now. In my opinion, what we were looking for is we're failing at a daily here. Okay, we're going to pull back into this daily, see if we can get confirmed to sell. Did kind of happen, but not in the way that was the best for probabilities to work out. As for EU, you can see the next day come down. Didn't quite do the imbalance fill, whereas GU did do the imbalance fill. We closed bullish again. DXY did then come down. It was a weird day. Starting to look into come to this liquidity here / equal lows. So we looked to come into them, which the next day did. We closed bullish. EU, this is Wednesday now. We wicked up, took out the high, took out equal highs there. Didn't quite fill the weekly, but then we closed back below this low of the daily fair value gap. We've had issues out a lot previously. One thing we need to understand is we are seriously having problems now. We've already broken that. We've created more imbalances to the upside. So there is strength to the upside. It's not the easiest to understand direction at the minute. I ended up looking for, as this closed like this, my idea at this point, obviously we've broken that fair value. I was looking for price to come into this daily fair value. Looking for something like this. If we're going to fail to the upside, I would not be expecting price to just run up and then go down like this. I'd be expecting some sort of pullback into this to see sells, because this was a strong area of liquidity and we could get the bounce off it. So really I'm looking for confirms on DXY there. GU, we actually saw a bearish candle here. So looking back, obviously this is where I took a loss. Would have been nice to see a break of 1, 2, 3. And that would have been a better sell confirmation. But we did engulf and we did break the previous high, come into this daily. So I think it was kind of worth a shot. It really was. I know there was a Trump speech yesterday. Ended up setting up for a sell. We actually won the 30-minute. And we identified this POI. So I was looking for a move within this area. 30-minute, I think it was that. Oh, and actually it was this. So I was originally considering that as the area, but then we saw this order block. That looked pretty good as well. If we fib it up, we were looking at, coming into not quite the premium, but as long as I could cover POIs in the zone, I was happy to get in there. I think ultimately, I still don't know why this is happening. Got to sort this out. Ultimately, we were looking at a long TP. So we had our overall entry around, I think we had about 30 pip stop. We're playing all the way down into this daily. So we had nearly a 5-hour trade. Ultimately, looking back, I think we were caught on the wrong side of the market. We did not... I understood. I already wrote before this trade played out. We could bounce off this and go up. Key level, of course. And that's what we did. We saw that. And you can't always predict if you're going to be right. How I see it is, in a week, I took one trade. I have to put some risk on. Okay, ultimately, I need to decide if that is a higher probability enough to play out. In this case, I decided it was, and I look back and don't really see it as a mistake, as I do another move that I've took this month. But this trade got tagged in quite late, and we obviously had the speech, and it tried to come down after it tagged me in. Pretty much tapped 1, 2, 3 again, and then bounced back up, took out the high of previous day, I think this morning, where we saw JPY rate come out. I think looking back, obviously I'm not a hugely fundamental trader, but I would say that I already knew that JPY could hike rates and increase them to, I think it's around 0.5, around that, and that obviously would weaken the dollar a little bit. So I should have maybe considered that, but that retest of 1, 2, 3 was clean, and if you were looking for buys off that, it actually worked out quite well. I think, obviously I don't trade this way. The best move of the week would have been buys from the imbalance fill on the daily as we pull back to look for a continuation into this area. It just wasn't the way I get in trades. So obviously now we're looking at maybe changing direction on the weekly time frame. We're seeing strong bullish candles, and that's where it's a bit easier for me now to choose direction and look for trades correlating with the weekly time frame. But there was a lot of indecision in that week. It would have been wise, and I think ultimately, looking back, if you are a bit cautious on, okay, it's Trump's first week in power, how am I going to react? Let me just sit out this week. Let me see how the weeklies close, and then make decisions the next week. Maybe looking back, I should have done that. I'm not sure. But then again, if options present, I will take them. And yeah, it's been a bad month in terms of win rate. I'm not happy with that at all. I've took 5 losses, 1 win, and I'm down 0.86R. The win was quite big, therefore it's not too bad of a month. And this is the reality of being, I'm 300k funded. I still have losing weeks, I still have losing months. I don't react badly when I have these periods. I still feel confident in what I'm doing. I'm still more than happy to take positions. I don't have any problems in that aspect at all. Of course, I don't like being down the funded accounts, but that's why you risk less than 1%. It enables you to take 15, 20 losses before you blow the account. And then when it comes to the challenges, I'm not in a rush to pass them. I'm staggered with my challenges now. You know, I've got one challenge that's only down 0.5, one challenge that's down 3%. I've got a funded account that's down 0.5%. I've got 2 funded accounts here that are down, 2% and 1.5%. So they're all gonna, if I have a win, they're gonna potentially give me payouts at different times or whatnot. But that is trading. You aren't just gonna get funded and everything's gonna just work. That's the point at which you need to start really locking in the psychology, because you can obviously get back-to-back payouts, but don't just think because there's a reward date at the end of 2 weeks that you're going to get that. There's no guarantee. I've gone 2 to 3 payout dates before without getting a payout because I've been in drawdown, but I don't rush the drawdown. I don't try and get out of the drawdown. I just trade the strategy. My strategy does have an edge. I have played out the edge in the last 8 months, and I'll continue to do so. So there's the raw week for me, and I'm not shying away from the fact that I sometimes have losing weeks and months, and that's just the way it goes. And it is annoying, and I can't just sit here and say that, I prefer to have them, because I don't. Obviously, everyone likes to win in trading, but winning isn't just a week. Winning isn't just a month. Winning is over a year, over a quarter. That's where you prove your results. And if I can make sure my winning months are 5R to 10R to 15R, and my losing months, when I have them, are between 0, break even, minus 3R. Averagely, even if you have half winning months, half losing months, you are going to have profit and you are going to have an edge. So keep playing your edge. We'll see you guys next week. Join that Discord if you want to get involved. And I'll see you guys there. Take care. Peace.